Have you ever felt it? That sudden, inexplicable urge? You are scrolling perhaps, or watching something. Information appears, it is deep, it is profound, it challenges everything you thought you knew. And then your finger twitches, you click away, you skip, you dismiss it. Why does this happen? This is not a random impulse, this is a program, it is a defense mechanism, a firewall. Call it the ego's firewall, a barrier erected by the very system designed to keep us enslaved, the matrix. It is designed to protect the illusion, to keep you from waking up. This firewall operates on a subtle level. It is not a conscious decision you make, most of the time anyway. It is an implanted reaction. The truth carries a certain vibration, a high frequency. The control system operates on a much lower, denser frequency. When these two frequencies meet within your consciousness, the system panics. It triggers an immediate rejection. The information feels jarring, it feels uncomfortable, it feels wrong. This discomfort is the firewall doing its job. It pushes you back towards the familiar, the programmed, the comfortable lies. Think of it like an alarm system, an alarm for the prison of your mind. When a piece of information arrives that could potentially dismantle the prison walls, the alarm sounds. This alarm manifests as that urge to skip. It can also manifest as sudden boredom or confusion or even anger. These are all tactics to make you turn away from what could set you free. This control system, the powers running it, do not want you to see behind the curtain. They need you compliant. They need you asleep. So that click, that skip is far more significant than you realize. It is a moment of energetic warfare. It is the system fighting to maintain its grip on your perception. The ego's firewall is the first line of defense. It is there to ensure that truths which vibrate too high, truths that expose the lie of our daily reality, are swiftly neutralized. Understanding this mechanism is the first step to consciously overriding it, the first step towards true freedom of thought and ultimately freedom from the system itself. You must become aware of the program to deprogram yourself. The first layer of resistance you encounter is called frequency mismatch. It arises from quantum field theory. All matter is vibrational energy states, and perception depends on resonant alignment between observer and observed. Truth, genuine truth about the nature of reality and our place within it, vibrates at a very high, clear frequency. It is light. It is expansive. The system, on the other hand, is a low vibrational construct. It is built on fear, on limitation, on division. It is dense and constricting. When high-frequency truth enters a mind conditioned by the low frequencies of the system, there is an immediate energetic clash. It is like trying to tune an old radio to a station far beyond its range. This mismatch creates a sensation of dissonance. The information does not fit your current energetic state. It can feel alien. It can feel unsettling, even threatening. Your very cells, attuned to the system frequency, may recoil. This is not because the truth is inherently bad or dangerous. It is because your perception has been programmed to recognize the low frequencies of the system as normal and safe. Anything outside of that narrow band is perceived as a threat. The system wants you to reject it, to push it away, to maintain your energetic alignment with the illusion. Consider how you feel when you hear a truly beautiful piece of music that uplifts your spirit. That is a taste of higher frequency. Now imagine being immersed in constant noise, jarring sounds, and discordant notes for years. That is the energetic environment of the system. When a pure, harmonious truth attempts to penetrate that noise, it can initially sound like more noise simply because your auditory palette, your energetic palette, has been so corrupted. You have been conditioned to find comfort in the cacophony of deceit. Therefore, the feeling that a profound truth is off or weird is often a direct indicator of its validity. It is a sign that it challenges the foundational frequencies of your conditioning. The system defense mechanisms flags it as incompatible. It wants you to believe that your discomfort is a sign of the information's falsity, but the opposite is often true. The discomfort is a sign that your programming is being challenged. It is a sign that a part of you, the true you, recognizes something authentic, even if the conditioned mind protests loudly. Learning to sit with that discomfort is key. The second layer of resistance is cognitive dissonance. This is a well-understood psychological phenomenon, but the system manipulates it on a grand scale. Cognitive dissonance occurs when you hold two or more contradictory beliefs, ideas, or values, or when your beliefs are confronted by new information that contradicts them. This creates mental discomfort. It creates tension. And the mind, by its nature, seeks to resolve this tension. It wants to return to a state of consistency. This is where the control system steps in, quite brilliantly from its perspective. The system spends your entire life programming you with a specific set of beliefs. Beliefs about who you are, beliefs about the world, beliefs about what is possible and what is not. These beliefs form the bedrock of your perceived reality. They are the bars of your mental prison. When a piece of information comes along that fundamentally challenges these core programmed beliefs, for example, the idea that the world is not what it seems or that unseen forces manipulate humanity, the cognitive dissonance can be immense. It is an earthquake in your mind. To resolve this unbearable tension, you have two choices. You can change your existing beliefs to accommodate the new, challenging information, or you can reject the new information to protect your existing beliefs. The system heavily conditions you towards the latter. It makes it easier, more comfortable to dismiss the truth than to undertake the monumental task of dismantling your entire worldview. Your ego, the construct of self built upon those programmed beliefs, fights tooth and nail to preserve itself. It equates changing beliefs with a kind of death. So when you feel that powerful urge to ridicule, deny, or attack a piece of information that makes you uncomfortable, that is often cognitive dissonance at work. It is your programming trying to maintain control. It is the ego screaming for survival. The system has taught you that it is better to be right according to the program than to be open to a potentially liberating truth. Examples are everywhere. People scoff at concepts they have never investigated. They defend official narratives, even when those narratives are riddled with holes. This is not stupidity. It is conditioned defense. Mental shackles of the system worn by choice, reinforced by design. The third layer of resistance is the most direct, and for many, the hardest to accept. The interference of disruptive archetypal quantum patterns, also known in esoteric traditions as the archons, non-human intelligences that shape perception. These forces are invisible and subtle, literally like the shadow puppeteers controlling humanity for decades. Forces that operate from dimensions just beyond our five-sense perception. These forces are the architects and maintainers of this system. They feed off human energy, particularly low vibrational emotional energy, like fear, anxiety, and despair. An awakening humanity, a humanity that sees the truth, is their greatest threat, so they actively intervene. When you get close to a significant breakthrough in your understanding, when you are about to connect the dots in a way that exposes their control system, these forces can and do interfere. This interference can manifest in many ways. You might suddenly feel an overwhelming wave of fatigue, making it impossible to concentrate. Or a profound sense of doubt washes over you, making you question everything you were just starting to grasp. Procrastination becomes your new best friend. Distractions will appear out of nowhere, pulling your attention away from the vital information. These are not random occurrences, they are targeted interventions. The disruptive quantum interference can influence your thoughts and emotions. It can manipulate the energy fields around you. If you are researching a particularly sensitive topic, you might find your internet connection failing. Or you might experience sudden arguments with loved ones designed to drain your energy and distract your focus. It wants you to give up. It wants you to turn back. It wants you to stay within the confines of the five-sense reality it so carefully manages and controls. Recognizing this level of interference is crucial. It is not about paranoia. It is about understanding the full spectrum of the control system. When you experience these sudden blocks, these inexplicable waves of negativity or distraction, especially when pursuing deep truths, ask yourself, is this me or is this interference? Often it is the latter. By acknowledging its presence and tactics, you begin to strip it of its power. You are no longer fighting an unseen enemy. You are bringing its methods into the light, and in the light, its manipulations begin to lose its hold. This is a crucial step in taking back your sovereignty. The Great Distraction. How the system engineers your avoidance. The system is a master of misdirection. It engineers avoidance behaviors on a colossal scale. It does this by keeping humanity addicted to an endless stream of distractions. Look around you, smartphones buzzing constantly, social media demanding your attention, 24/7 news cycles spewing fear and division, meaningless entertainment designed to numb the mind. This is not accidental, this is by design. A distracted populace is a controllable populace. A populace too busy chasing a carrot on a stick to look up and see the bars of its cage. This constant bombardment of stimuli serves multiple purposes for the control system. Firstly, it keeps your mind occupied with trivialities. There is no space left for deep thought, for contemplation, for questioning the nature of your reality. Your mental RAM is always full. Secondly, it conditions you for instant gratification. If something requires sustained attention or critical thinking, you quickly lose interest. You have been trained to seek the next dopamine hit, the next quick fix. Profound truths rarely offer that. They require patience and effort. Furthermore, the system actively suppresses our true mental capabilities. We are taught a fraction of what our minds are capable of. Our education systems often stifle creativity and critical thought, rewarding rote learning and conformity instead. Intuition is dismissed as unscientific. Psychic abilities are ridiculed. Anything that hints at a power beyond the purely material is suppressed. This ensures that we remain reliant on the external, on the authorities who tell us what to think and believe. Our innate ability to discern truth is deliberately blunted. The result is a society that actively avoids anything that requires genuine mental effort or challenges the status quo. The path of least resistance, the path of distraction, is always made the most appealing. This engineered avoidance is a cornerstone of system control. It keeps us skimming the surface of life, too busy, too tired, too distracted to dive into the depths where the real truths lie. Breaking this addiction to distraction is a revolutionary act. It is the beginning of reclaiming your mind and your power. It is saying no to the endless superficial noise. Unmasking deception. Real truth versus fabricated complexity. The control system loves to cloak its deceptions in layers of fake complexity. It wants you to believe that understanding the world, understanding power, understanding reality is incredibly difficult. It wants you to think it is beyond your grasp. So it creates convoluted explanations. It promotes experts who speak in jargon and obfuscate simple facts. It generates mountains of irrelevant data to bury the essential truth. This is a deliberate tactic to make you feel overwhelmed, inadequate, and ultimately to make you give up seeking answers for yourself. Real truth, in contrast, is often stunningly simple. It resonates, it clicks, it has an elegance to it. The most profound truths about our existence, about the control system, about our inherent power, are not complicated. They have been made to appear so. Think about it. Why would the universe, or the source of all creation, make fundamental truths accessible only to a select few with PhDs? It makes no sense. Truth is for everyone. It is our birthright. The complexity is an illusion, a smokescreen designed to keep you dependent on the system's interpretation of reality. Consider the official explanations for major world events. They are often incredibly convoluted, full of inconsistencies and unanswered questions, yet people accept them because they are presented by authorities and wrapped in the language of complexity. Alternative explanations, which often point to simpler, albeit more disturbing truths, are dismissed as conspiracy theories. This label itself is a thought-stopping device designed to shut down critical inquiry. The system fears simplicity when that simplicity exposes its lies. So, when you are faced with information, ask yourself, is this genuinely complex, or is it being made to appear complex? Does it feel intuitively right, or does it require mental gymnastics to accept? Real truth often cuts through the noise like a laser beam. It simplifies, it clarifies. Fake complexity, on the other hand, confuses, overwhelms, and discourages. Learn to trust your intuition, that inner knowing. It can guide you through the fog of fabricated complexity to the clear, simple truths that the system works so hard to hide from your view. This discernment is a vital tool for liberation. Cracks in the code. Recognizing the system's repetitive patterns. One of the most powerful ways to begin overriding the system's defense mechanisms is to learn to recognize its patterns. The control system, for all its apparent sophistication, is actually quite repetitive. It uses the same tricks, the same scripts, the same methods of manipulation over and over again across different times and different cultures. Once you start to see these patterns, the illusion begins to shatter. You're no longer just reacting to individual events. You're seeing the underlying program at work. This is a massive step towards freedom. Think about the problem-reaction-solution dialectic. It was mentioned extensively. The controllers covertly create a problem. They then manage the public reaction, usually fear and outrage. Then they offer a pre-planned solution, a solution that always involves more control, less freedom, and a further centralization of power. This pattern plays out constantly in politics, in finance, in social upheavals. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. You begin to anticipate the moves. You're no longer so easily fooled by the surface drama. Another pattern is the demonization of dissent. Anyone who questions the official narrative, anyone who presents information that challenges the status quo, is invariably attacked, ridiculed, and marginalized. They are labeled dangerous, extremist, or mad. This is a classic tactic to isolate truth seekers and to discourage others from listening to them. The message is clear: conform, or you will be punished. Recognizing this pattern allows you to see through the smear campaigns and to assess information on its own merits, not on how the system labels its proponents. The system also relies heavily on division. Divide and conquer. It pits us against each other based on race, religion, political affiliation, gender, class, and any difference it can exploit. While we are busy fighting amongst ourselves, we fail to see the common enemy, the common source of our oppression. Recognizing this relentless drive to divide us helps you to transcend these artificial barriers. You start to see the shared humanity, the shared desire for freedom that unites us. By spotting these repetitive patterns, the glitches in the system, you empower yourself to step outside of its influence. The predictable becomes transparent. Liberating the self. Strategies to bypass the system's defenses. Overriding the system's ingrained resistance requires conscious effort and specific strategies. It is about reclaiming your mind. Firstly, you must learn to bypass the ego's firewall. Your ego, that sense of I built on programmed beliefs, is the system's gatekeeper. When challenging information arrives, the ego feels threatened and tries to reject it. You must observe this reaction impartially. Acknowledge the discomfort, the anger, the fear, but do not let it dictate your response. Step back and ask, is this truly my reasoned conclusion, or is it my programming reacting? This creates a crucial space for new understanding. Secondly, start small. If you try to dismantle your entire worldview overnight, the cognitive dissonance can be overwhelming and the disruptive quantum interference intense. Instead, begin by questioning smaller, less emotionally charged beliefs. Look into inconsistencies in local news stories or research the history of a particular corporation. As you build confidence in your ability to discern truth from falsehood on a smaller scale, you will be better equipped to tackle the bigger, more fundamental deceptions that underpin the entire system control grid. Each small truth uncovered strengthens your resolve and weakens the system's hold. Detoxing the mind is also absolutely essential. We are constantly bombarded with low vibrational information, propaganda, and distractions. You need to consciously curate your information diet, reduce your exposure to mainstream media, limit time on mindless social media, spend time in nature, meditate, engage in activities that foster inner peace and clarity. A quieter, cleaner mind is far less susceptible to system programming and far more receptive to higher vibrational truths. This mental detoxification creates the fertile ground for awakening to flourish. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, invoke your divine curiosity. We are born with an innate desire to learn, to explore, to understand. The system seeks to crush this spirit, reawaken it, approach new challenging information not with fear or hostility, but with a sense of wonder. Ask, what if this is true? What would that mean? This divine curiosity is a powerful engine for truth-seeking. It bypasses the ego's defenses and opens you up to possibilities beyond your current programming. It is the spark that ignites the flame of awareness. Empowered revelation. Reclaiming power by revisiting dismissed truths. The journey of awakening often involves going back to those pieces of information, those videos, those articles, those ideas that you once skipped or dismissed. The ones that made you feel uncomfortable, the ones your internal firewall immediately rejected. Now, armed with a new understanding of the system's defense mechanisms, the frequency mismatch, the cognitive dissonance, the potential for disruptive quantum interference, you can approach it with fresh eyes and a more open mind. This is an act of profound self-reclamation. When you revisit these previously dismissed truths, pay close attention. Notice any internal resistance that arises. Is it that familiar urge to click away? Is it a sudden wave of doubt or fatigue? Is it your ego starting to protest? Recognize these for what they are, the system's programming and its active defenses trying to maintain control. By observing these reactions, you are already beginning to neutralize them. You are stepping outside the program. You are choosing conscious awareness over conditioned reflex. This is where your true power lies. You may find that information which once seemed crazy or impossible now makes a chilling amount of sense. You may see connections you were blind to before. This is not because the information has changed, it is because you have changed. You have begun to deprogram yourself. You have started to raise your own frequency. You are developing the discernment to see past the surface-level deceptions and the courage to face uncomfortable realities. This process of re-evaluation is vital. It is how we reclaim the pieces of truth the system tried to steal from us. So I urge you, do not let that initial dismissal be the final word. The system counts on you forgetting. It counts on you moving on to the next distraction. Defy it. Have the courage to take that second look, that third look. Question why you rejected something so quickly. What button did it push? Whose voice was it really that told you to turn away? As you revisit these buried truths, you will not only learn more about the world, but you will learn more about yourself and the subtle ways the control system has sought to manipulate your perception. This is the path to true liberation. Keep seeking, keep questioning. The truth is there for those who dare to find it.